McDermott Park is the home of St Johnstone Football Club and their aspiring youth development programme. The aim of the programme is to bring players up through the ranks, starting at under-17s and working their way to being considered for the first team. With the coaching staff at the helm, they drive the players to fulfil their potential and reach their goal.
First of all, the players will be identified by the scouting network that we have, which kind of runs all over the country now. So I would be informed of a future possibility that there's a boy in an area that has the potential to come in. We would then invite him in for training, we'd invite him in the evenings or maybe in school holidays. And then when we thought he was up to the standard for signing, we'd invite his parents in, invite the boy in, sit down and go over everything that we expect of them and what the procedure would be in terms of training nights, training days and weekend games.
I got scouted in second year by an Aberdeen team called Lewis United. Playing for a team that high level in the top league was great. First year with them, won a league and a tournament in the north of England. So it was a great first year for us. That's when I got a trial for Aberdeen. I was on trial for them for a year and a half, but I didn't really like it I didn't feel comfortable with them. They didn't really take acknowledgement of me, so I thought, nah, I'm not signed for them. So I played one more year with Lewis. That's where I thought we could do well this year. We got to the quarter of the Scottish, but we didn't win any trophies, so that was a kind of downfall. A change of coaching staff came halfway through, and one of the coaches was a scout for St Johnstone. And he said, we've been looking at you for a couple of months, and he said, would you like to come down for a trial? So I told my mum, she has a great experience, so she said, might as well go down. So it was mid-Easter, I got taken down for 4 days, and I trained with under-20s, and it was probably the greatest time I've ever had, playing for people years over me.
And I think in youth development you're looking for people that can learn. They often use a phrase, it's a really interesting phrase and no one's ever tried to kind of define it, but they talk about people who can read a game well, which at one level is about literacy. It's about your capacity to understand how the game is played, formations, shape, different kind of dynamics within the game, and that's really, really important as well. And I think that they're also looking for people that have, or that they can bring out, a certain self-awareness or self-assuredness, self-confidence. So for example, if you're a goalkeeper, you're looking for somebody that, as they always say, can command their box. That requires somebody who is not just tall, but somebody who can assert their influence on defenders, who can marshal the defence, who can actually make a decision when to stay on the line, when to come off the line. And if you're a shy guy, you might have big hands, but that's not going to help you. You really need that self-awareness and self-assuredness. And I think youth development is looking for all of those things. It's looking for people with that multiplicity of skills rather than just being a good footballer.
I got signed in the 1st of July. That I went down to McDermott, got a proper photo and everything, just signed the papers, which was amazing. I've never had a proper signing. And I spent one more week down there of the summer holidays to play with train with the 20s and sometimes meet all the first team players. And then on the Friday, I was on the bench for a testimonial game with the 20s up at Fraserburgh, which is my hometown. And that was amazing, playing first time in a proper ground.
Edward, who's a keeper, he's in a situation just now where St Johnstone's first choice keeper, Alan Manus, is an international keeper for Northern Ireland. He's someone that's over the years built up a formidable skill himself. He's a great shot stopper, for example, as a keeper. He's also, again, someone that's got quite a lot of confidence in cross balls and whatever. So even within the art of goalkeeping, he has some key visible strengths. And I think in that sense, to be with that kind of person around you day in, day out, things rub off and you notice things and you notice the way that people train. Interestingly enough, it's the case as well that goalkeepers, who often are slightly different in as much as they often train together and alone away from the rest of the squad, that there's something else at play there because it's about how do you prepare for the game, how do you get ready.
Edward Flynn comes in on a Friday from school and usually plays his game on the Sunday, so it gets him in about the club for a few days. It gets him a confidence, gets him used to being about the place. When he comes on a Friday, he gets to train as a 15-year-old with the first team goalkeepers.
In a training session can vary. You can It could be one moment you could do handling, you could do footwork, you could do reactions, you could do your reflexes, you can build on technique, but they put it in different, like whole part whole, where you do it, you focus on that bit, and then that will help you come together like a jigsaw.
We encourage them to do well at school so that when it comes to the day, if they get the chance to stay in on a full-time basis, they've got good academics behind them as well. That's important. We also have them geared up to what would happen in the event that they weren't taken, so we hopefully would be moving them sideways into another club and maybe into another profession.
St Johnstone are very supportive of my education. They're wanting me to stay on another year to get my hires. My mum wants me to stay on and get my hires. Later on, if my football career doesn't work out or if I get injured, then I can go through to college and do whatever I want.
If you have a talent and a passion and you love what it is that you're doing, you've got to at some stage face up to, do I love this game as a recreation, or is this a game that I want to play to earn a living? And I think that if it's a game that you play to earn a living, you have to be able to understand that you'll have to be peripatetic, you'll have to move around, you'll have to go out on loan, you'll have to live in digs, you'll have to buy your first flat, you'll have to sell it as soon as you bought it, because by and large, football is a mobile sport. In reality, if you want to aspire to the very top of the game, that will inevitably mean moving. It will mean moving to England or to Spain or to somewhere else, but it won't just require you to stay at the club that recruited you as a young talent.
5 years' time, hopefully playing for the first team, but if that's not happening, then either on the bench or even out on loan, that could be helpful. I'd love to go abroad, like maybe Italy or Spain, something like that, but that's just a big shot in the dark. Your future isn't set in stone, but the actions you take now could determine what happens then.